vavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay, so we finish verse 13 of Kathoupanishad, chapter 2, Valli 5, verse 13. And now we'll be doing verse 14. And what is the page number for whoever has the book?
It's 257.
257. So the verse 13 and actually 12 and 13 were talking about that, that Brahman, and basically it said the one who realizes the Brahman is the one who gets sukh, and the next one, verse 13 was usko shanti milti hai. दोनों उसी को शांति मिलती है और दूसरों को नहीं मिलती है, और वो शांति परमानेंट है, इटर्नल जो हमने बोला शांति. And then there were some other factors in the verse 13 that, the eternal among the non-eternal. So it was talking about Purusha and Prakriti and the intelligence of the intelligent. Sentiency, life comes from that Brahman. And, I heard something very, very interesting, and see if you can connect to it. So, the main difference between Buddhism and our Sanatan Dharma is that Buddhism was silent. Buddha was silent on the topic of God. So he just talked it as a void, nothingness and things like that. So when we look at the sky, say at night time, and we see it dark, so we think that it's empty. Emptiness is there, right? So it was Sarvapriyananji who said, do you realize that this sky is, or we took a space, not sky, space, entire space, जिसमें सारी galaxies हैं. It's never empty. There's always light in it, but only when some object comes there, it shines. But the light is traveling back and forth continuously. So it is not empty. See, even scientific fact that is true. We never think about it that way. The night sky that we see, the dark, it is full of light actually. But there is no object to shine it. That's why. The same way Brahman, I thought it was so profound that statement. The Brahman is everywhere, all pervading. But, you need like the human mind to shine it. Reflect it. So we are the one who are, we are the proof that Brahman exists. Because of our life. And the other statement that I've heard is a very nice one, that this whole cosmos is a signature of God. That God exists, he signed it. I thought that was a very profound statement. So all of that, we have to think about this one. Okay. So that was verse 13. And then here we are, so just to summarize with few sentences so that we are all on the same page, that we saw that, Dharmaraj or Yamraj, he used the word Aitad Vaitad many times.
No.
Okay. Aitad Vaitad he did many times. This indeed is that. Right? Because when he say Aitad, what does it mean? That this Atman that I'm experiencing within me is that Brahman you're talking about, or you're asking questions. That he used many times. And then he also revealed that particular, if you want to look at it another way, that factor or Atma Tattva unhone usko bola, it is in heart of everybody. So that also we have to remember. And then we learned the one who realizes this truth, that whatever we're talking about knowledge, what is knowledge? The one who realizes this truth, that is this or this is that, they attain the supreme bliss and peace. No one else. Because they use that word. No itre sham means no other person. Yes, that you can get little joys of the world, but it will be soon become into pain. So we know. Here you can get a little bit of joy, it's turned into pain. And then the next mantra is very interesting according to Tejomayananji. because now it's looking the reverse way. It's saying this is that. है कि नहीं? जो ये है मेरे अंदर ये तत्व वो ब्रह्मन है. अब वो बोल रहे हैं वो जो ब्रह्मन है वो ये है. So दोनों तरफ से full circle. Okay? Now we are going to look at it from the other way. That is the significance of it. These two verses go together, the 14 and 15, but today we'll focus on 14. So with that background, I'm going to chant the verse 14 and we'll go the word meaning and we'll go from there. Tade taditi manyante anirdeshyam param sukham katham nu tad vijaniyam kimu bhati vibhati va. That's the verse. Tat is that. And we know Brahman they're talking about. Etat is this. So that is this. Iti, thus. Manyante, perceive. Or the one wise person realizes this. Yahan par, that's what he's saying. Self-realization, basically, they're pointing to. Or think or perceive. Anirdeshyam. Now, this is a most significant thing. What they realize is indescribable. Now, this is complete like paradox. He's saying they realize it, but it's undescribable. You cannot describe it. Paramam is highest and highest or supreme. Sukham is bliss. Which is Paramam Sukham? Okay, that factor is Paramam Sukham, and these wise people realize it, but it is undescribable. Anirdeshyam, जिसका निर्देश नहीं दिया जा सकता, जिसको point नहीं किया जा सकता. Katham nu. Then how shall, that's a question. Tat, that. Vijaniyam, I know. How shall I know this? That's a question. Kim, whether. U is verily. Bhati, shines by itself. Va, or. Vibhati, does it shine by another light. Vibhati, मतलब किसी और ढंग से. V means some other way. So basically he's saying that highest truth, which is undescribable, and which is Paramam Sukham, which is the highest bliss, and these wise people know this is that, usko मैं कैसे जानूं? That is the question. Uska analysis is kind of interesting, the way Tejomay Anandi did it. That's why we need some, Mahatmas to tell us, how to do this. So first thing, Tejomay Anandi said that this factor is called Paramam Sukham because he called it exalted bliss. Means, unconditional, incomparable, highest bliss. And we have talked about it, कि हम लोग को लगता है कि, once you merge with that Brahman, or it's not even once you merge, you are already there, but once you realize it, let's put it this way. Once you realize it, you get that bliss. How do I compare that bliss? There is no comparison in this world. So they say, okay, take something that you enjoy the most and multiply it by million times. That's all they can say. We cannot, and just usko soch ke hum log thoda khush ho jate hain. Because we don't know what it is, but at least if they are saying it. So that is the Paramam Sukham, of the highest kind. And then he also reminded us that is Shashvatam, is eternal. That this Sukham is eternal. Those are the very important things. लेकिन अगर किसी को पूछो कि यार इसको भी मेरे को थोड़ा समझाओ, define करो, so then he's saying that big problem happens. Why? Because he's saying कि दुनिया की जो चीजें हैं ना उनको define करना बहुत आसान है. Because you can define it in many different ways, but this one is beyond the worldly things. That's why it cannot be explained. Okay? So, and he's saying that how do we describe the worldly things? We can describe it through names and forms. कि भाई ये चीज फलानी चीज क्या है, तो इसका नाम दे दिया, उसका characteristic दे दिया, उसका what scientific analysis दे दिया, all those, so you can do it through names and form. Actions you can describe, this person is going here, going there, those are actions, or doing this. Modifications, दूध का दही बन गया, things like that. If something modifies, you can explain it. Relations से explain कर सकते हैं, worldly things. So many different kind of ways you can. But this this factor is beyond all this. So that's why it is you cannot define it. So this particular Paramam Sukham or this factor, you cannot, in this way you cannot define it, because it doesn't fall into any particular category, number one. It cannot become the object of your intelligence. That's how they explain it. That it cannot become. So in this framework of this world, you cannot describe. But we also know एतद वेतद को कितनी बार यूज किया है यहाँ पे, that realized master, he knows it because he says it. He has experienced it. That's why he says it एतद वेतद. So that person is directly experiencing it. And then they, in their own words, they try to describe it. It's hard, but they try. So this undefinable thing they directly experiences. So realized person says, I am in this bliss and all that. Other people keep wondering कि क्या है इसके पास, मुझे कैसे मिले, how do I get it, So he's saying that's when this next line of this mantra comes in use. So the next mantra is asking this question, hey, how am I to know this, that this person who's experiencing it? And because of the same thing that we discussed, that how am I to know it now? And then another question can be, who knows it? That question may come to our mind. And then, hey, if I have to go beyond my mind and intellect, that's when I will ask question. अगर मेरा mind नहीं समझेगा तो कौन समझेगा इसको? That's the question. So very strange arena of questions. It's saying that, then he said कि basically to see anything or understand anything in the world, there are two kinds of light needed. One is a physical light to see physical objects. We cannot deny that, right? To see a physical object, we need a physical light. It can be sunlight, it can be moonlight. Now that the moonlight is very strong at night, and or electric light or some bijli or something that we will see. So that's physical. To understand other things in the world, we need intellect ki light, right? इसको भी intellect की light बोलते हैं, understanding की light, okay? So we need both those lights, but here they are telling you that this is beyond both of the lights. So is it कौन सी light में मैं समझूंगा उसको? See, that's the question. When he said that, does it shine by itself, or does it take some light from some other thing, borrows the light from someone? That's the question is coming in that person's. And the question also, कौन पूछ रहा है, इतना आसान नहीं है इसको समझना कि ये प्रश्न कौन पूछ रहा है, because स्वामी जी ने इस पर भी commentary दी. Who is asking this question? Okay. Then he answered in a very smart way. So everybody understood that question, that it is anirdeshyam, you cannot explain it, it's beyond intellect. So कौन से light से मैं इसको समझूंगा? और कौन समझेगा? All those questions are in this second question. So then Swamiji said, कौन पूछ रहा है ये question? Is Nachiketa asking this question? Or is Yamraji is bringing that question? And then a conclusion was, it does not matter. नचिकेता भी पूछ सकता है ये क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज उसी का तो कॉन्वर्सेशन चल रहा है उसके साथ. यमराज जी भी ये पोज कर सकते हैं क्वेश्चन फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ एवरीबॉडी, सो ही सेइंग दैट ये क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली ऑल द सीकर्स के लिए है. इट अप्लाइज टू ऑल द सीकर्स हु वांट दिस आंसर. वो लोग पूछ रहे हैं ये क्वेश्चन. एंड देन ही वाज ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन इट इन सम वर्ल्डली वे, बिकॉज वी सी दिस महात्मास, एंड इफ वी बिलीव दे आर सेल्फ रियलाइज and they, characteristic of a person who is self-realized, Krishna Bhagavan already gave all the indicators, and we see such people, so we are at awe and we say, अरे इसको तो मिल गया, मुझे कैसे मिले? Right? So he's saying that it's something like कोई बहुत singer है, समझो best singer over there, and उसके चेले हैं कई, और वो सीख रहे हैं अभी, और वो चेले बैठ के ना ये उस्ताद को देख रहे हैं, अरे क्या गाता है ये, कैसे सुर बजाता है, मैं भी कब पहुंचूंगा यहाँ पे. Same kind of feeling we get when we look at all these people. Or somebody has done a beautiful painting. तो बोला कि उसने एक स्ट्रोक यहाँ मारा, एक स्ट्रोक यहाँ, 3-4 ऐसे कुछ किया और वो घोड़ा बन गया. He's funny. Tejamanaj is very funny. So he said, हम लोग बनाएंगे तो गधा भी नहीं बनता. So he's saying that they have the art that they whatever they did, science, art, practice, वैराग्य सबसे उनको मिल गया, अब मुझे कैसे मिले? So he's saying that ऐसा हमको doubt आता है कि शायद am I capable of it? How will I get it? What is the method? Exactly like what we were talking about. विवेक, वैराग्य, किसको पकड़ूं पहले? इसका मतलब क्या है? सारे everything comes under this. So he's saying that some people might just get so kind of dejected at this point that they will say, oh, forget about it. If it's a nirdeshyam, why do I even bother? If nobody can explain to me, my life is going okay, just let me just forget about it. So he's saying, don't do that. Tejamanaji was saying. So he's saying that firstly, we have to have a shraddha, that if this person got it, that means it's there. So don't have a doubt about that. And then also don't have a doubt that you can get it or not, because with Vivek and Vairagya you can get it. Krishna Bhagwan also declared it. Okay, so we should have that much faith in, he's saying. So, and we should not ignore it either. You're too difficult, I can't get it, so just let it be. Don't do that either. He's saying that why we should not ignore it? Because this is a declaration of all those people, including Krishna Bhagwan, including this particular Upanishad, that full fulfillment of life will happen only when you realize that truth. Everything else is going to be wasted. Like, even the Sukh and Shanti, eternal Sukh and Shanti, you will get only when you know this truth. And if you think about it, all of us are going after Sukh and Shanti only. We don't get it, but that's what we are all striving for. That's why we should do this. So then the question should come in your mind, according to Tejomayananji, how I should do this. Okay? So don't have an indifference about it, oh jane do. Don't have a doubt about it. Have a utsaha, he said. Have inspiration, utsaha to do this, And he also told everybody that don't keep on saying, oh, I don't understand, and I'll try to understand. And like Arjun and Arjun did not give up, if you think about it. He challenged Krishna Bhagwan with his question. He asked, kabhi prem se, kabhi challenge se, and all. And Krishna Bhagwan also didn't give up. So both of them didn't give up. So he's saying, don't give up. Keep asking. So he's saying that, and don't even worry about Yamaraj ne pucha, Nachiketa ne pucha. All of us, we feel the exact same way, who are the students of this, trying to understand it. So, and he said, he was reminding that, Tejamanaji was reminding that even when we heard the Sthita Prajna Ke Lakshan in chapter 2, characteristic of man of wisdom, then our question should be, how I can get there? Instead of saying, oh, yeah, these are only for sadhus and, I don't know, I can't do it. No, you have to ask. And he's saying that now this question is going to be answered in the next verse, which is the last verse of this particular Valli. And that verse 15, is a very, very important verse. And, I don't know about Meenaji and Sushilji in their center over there in East Coast, if they use the verse 15 as their Vedic Arti. It's not Tatra Suryo Bhanti na Chandra Tarakam. You read that? Because in our Houston center, they don't do the regular Arti, Om Jai Jagdish Hare and Chinmaya Mission, they do this Arti. Anytime there is a Arti, they will do this one. And because this is absolute essence of what that Brahman is, and so that is the next verse, very exciting, and we will do it next week, because we should just have that question now, and we will analyze it next week. It's a beautiful one. It's called the Vedic Arti. So this is where it is. Any question, comment? Anybody wants to add anything? Yeah, Prabhakarji. Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
I have a doubt about. I have a question and a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So the bliss is undescribable, right? That is what it is mentioned, and it is also, we also don't know whether it is its own light or it is a reflection of something else.
That's
right?
the question that seekers have. Yes.
Seekers have. Now, the bliss is normally the happiness happens at the level of mind. Am I right in thinking?
True. I mean, right now, that's true, but what they are describing is something different. We have a very hard time understanding that, but what they are saying is mind feels happy, but when you discover you are happiness yourself, then it's a different thing. It's like um, whoever sent that poem about Khalil Gibran, who was saying that this Nadi is very scared to merge in the ocean, and it's trembling and this and that, and then when it merges in the ocean, it becomes the ocean itself. Nothing to fear about. So same thing like this. What the kind of happiness we think, it's not that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you are feeling happy, but you become happiness.
Okay. So, I mean, basically, the mind, intellect, everything is merges. Does it merge with this happiness?
Yes,
Or with this
yes,
bliss?
that's exactly what it is. And I think today Manju is not there when she was describing Sadhguru. Remember, she was saying that he's not in his body, he's not in his body. So, on one hand, he is, but he knows that he's not the body. That's what it means. It's like when I'm dreaming, if I come to know it's just a dream. While I'm in the dream, then how will you behave? That's what they're talking about over here. I know it's hard to imagine, right? Because they keep saying that this world is.
Yeah, it is hard to imagine.
So you know what? The only people who know can tell you a little bit about this experience is that near death wale, near that experience jisko hota hai na, and some of you have put few things. And the whole internet is exploded with it right now. So that is a little dangerous thing to go because some people might keep listening to that all day. You don't want to do that. But when you are free from this body, then what is that oneness called? Because there's a telepathy, it seems, that between the people then. They understand each other like instantly.
Okay.
You know, and on this earth, there are some people who are clairvoyant. Clairvoyant means they have some indication of that subtle world and they have a connection with it. So they can see the auras, they can see subtle bodies, they can interact with and things like that. No, India में उसको बहुत ugly form दे दिया, some bhoot and this and that. It's really bad. It's nothing like that.
Okay.
It's something spiritual. So when we talk about all those things, we have a hard time understanding it. You know, like for example, even time. Can we experience, no time? What does it mean?
Umaji, I mean, I'm thinking of deep sleep.
Deep sleep is the only true. And my husband is here, and he was
Beyond time and space.
Yeah,
and
what's
therefore there's beyond time and space.
beyond time and space?
Either time, and that's the experience. That's the bliss. Because when you get up, you feel like, wow, it was wonderful. Was the body there? Were you there to recognize it? No, but that's what it is.
Exactly.
It's not the happiness from objects. It's not the happiness you feel in
There
the
you go.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it is when you are in the deep sleep and when you wake up, you have that feeling that you cannot describe.
Correct. And here he was telling me yesterday that he dozed off, and he had looked at the clock, and when he got up, only 5 minutes had passed, 5 or 10, and he said he felt so refreshed and happy sometimes you need hours of sleep to get this, but just that no time frame, he had no clue that it was only 5 minutes. But so exactly right, that happiness comes from like no objects, no nothing.
Yeah, and how you feel then.
Yeah.
So try to experience that, Dr. Prabhakar, when you get up or when you feel, what does it feel like?
Okay.
And then the next verse is going to tell us that it is self-illuminating, this factor. And it's very easy to understand that self-illuminating from our worldly example. The sun is self-illuminating. So when the sun comes up, do I need another light to see the sun? I don't. The sunlight itself shows me sun. So That's the answer over there. It's going to come that it is self-illuminating. You don't need any other light. It's knowledge itself. So you don't need any other instrument to know it. It's a deep philosophical subject that you have to contemplate upon.
Because it's such Chit Ananda, this Chit part of it, the knowledge, as you mentioned, is the knowledge itself.
Yeah.
It's the knowledge.
It's bliss itself. Yes. Bliss itself, knowledge itself, Sat and truth itself. Truth is it's always there in 3 periods of time. Yeah. Yeah. So it's very interesting, but you can see that how it's complementing each other, the Bhagavad Gita and this. That, hey, Arjun had the doubt too. Hey, I don't think I can get it. And Krishna Bhagavan said, no, you can get it. And that's exactly what Tejomenaji was talking about. Don't doubt it. Don't just ask yourself how I can get it and show some enthusiasm. And coming to this class or discussing it or reading it or doing your practices, that's all. Us enthusiasm ke bina to hoga hi nahi. If somebody puts a danda on your head and say, do it, after a while you're going to drop it. And then you can see that, a lot of people come and go in the class, and the people who stick around are the one who got some enthusiasm about it. Yeah.
I think the example given, Sarpriyananda talked about this Etat Tedat, is what is Brahman? And he said, Brahman is the word. And somebody asked, what is word? And he said, word is Brahman.
Very good. Excellent. Yeah.
That is this. So that he explained it that way. I thought that was a good example.
Very good example. Because the Advaita Vedanta, that's what they believe, that the actually world is God only. We just looking at it like all names and forms. And Sarvapriyananji gives a beautiful example. It's like you have gold ornaments. Either you look at the gold or look at the ornament, but ornament can be always changing. You can melt it and make whatever, but the gold is never going to go away. Same like ocean and waves. Waves can come and go. It's an eternal thing. Right? But the ocean remains. Same. So I think this Swamis, they have understood it so well. They are establishing it, and now they give different examples. Unke bhi man mein different examples aate hain, right? So sometimes some example we connect to it very well. And sometimes it's also possible we may hear some example और वो हमारे घुसेगा नहीं दिमाग में, but suddenly middle of the night you say, oh, now I know what they were saying. You are not getting some sleep, or you are, or you're driving, or you're sitting somewhere, and suddenly the tube light comes on. Now I know what they were meaning, Yeah, true. Any other point anybody has? Okay, shall I close this? Oh no, did we read it? No. I'm so lost with all these philosophical things. We didn't read it, right? Okay, so but it's already like 12:25, so we can read it next time because Swamiji's commentary is like a couple of pages. Yeah. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.